Hey, beautiful soul. So I'm here with several different prophetic messages. Please only take what resonates and leave the rest. If you feel like they don't apply, then just let them fly, okay? So let's go ahead and get into the message. So there's about to be a divine balance taking place, okay? So if you have been somebody who has had an unhealthy relationship with money, you have been tight-fisted in some sort of way, let's just say that things have been out of balance, okay? And God is saying no more, that's it, okay? So basically what is happening here is it's almost like transferring. I'm not saying that something's going to be taken away, but what I am saying is basically God is balancing the scales is what I just heard. Okay. So it's like I saw someone moving stuff from the left side of the room over to moving stuff from the right side of the room over to the left side of the room. Okay. And this was God letting me know that that's what he's about to do. And that's what's about to take place. Again, it's being under divine judgment, divine balance in a sense, because things have been uneven for way too long. Okay. So again, it's almost like the house is a representation of yourself. So because the left side was empty and there was nothing there, some of you guys wasn't receiving anything. Okay. So now things are about to start receiving in a sense, because the divine spirit of light is shifting things over to your side and in your favor is just what I heard. Okay. And that's the message for some. So please only take that if it resonates. Okay. It just depends on where you're at on your journey at this time. Okay. Whether that message is applying to you. So the next message that I received was, I saw like there's going to be somebody who's mourning somebody who had kind of passed away. You know how they have little, what do you call them? When people have candles and there's oh God, forgive me y'all. Candle vigils outside. I felt like, not felt like, I saw somebody, a group of people standing on a corner. They had candles lit as if they was mourning somebody. Okay. So be mindful of that. So I can't necessarily say what happened, but I just saw that taking place. Okay. So just be mindful, because right now we do have three things that's kind of transpiring right now. We got Mercury retrograde going on. We got the eclipse that's about the eclipse in the moon of Scorpio that's about to take place on May 5th. Okay. And that energy, the eclipse energy, can last anywhere from all the way up from the month of May all the way up to the month of October. So 6 months out. Okay. So be mindful of that. But Mercury will go retrograde. Mercury will go direct back on May 14th. So just be mindful of that. But the eclipse energy, again, can last up to like 6 months, okay? Where there's a lot of chaos and confusion that can take place at that time. So also be mindful of things like, you can go over to my TikTok channel. I talked about that over there, like being under divine judgment in a sense. So if you want to hear that video, you can go over there and listen of things just to be aware of during this time, okay? During this transition. Anyway, so the next message I received was, it was something about someone kind of like disguising some cleaning solution as something that they're trying to profit in a sense, but it's almost like, it turns out it's nothing more than, like, as an example, pine saw, something that somebody could buy from the store. So be mindful of that at this time. Okay. Just people trying to, scam, or, just being a little cunning or a little crafty. Okay. Anyway, so the next message I received also too was, it's almost like, so let's just say if God was having you being exposed, like God had took the doors off the hinges and everybody could see everything about your life in a sense. It's almost like divine spirit of light is now ordering that you can now have your door back, and like you're going to be closed off from other people is just what I just got. So be mindful of that. So if you felt like your life was being exposed for the world to see, it's almost like the doors are going to go back onto the hinges and you can close your door now, to the point, and I don't mean like your physical door, I'm talking like your spiritual door. Like everybody had access to seeing what was going on with you in a sense. And some people, you weren't even aware that they even had this information, access to this information, or whatever. But basically what is happening is like the divine spirit of light is putting the door back on the hinges. Okay. Kind of like a parent does when their child is doing something and they take the doors off the hinges, so they can't even have any privacy. Okay. So this next message came through was, some may be experiencing a situation. This could be a specific message or for just a group of selected few. Okay. So it's almost like your divine masculine is trying to prove himself to you in a sense. Okay. It's almost like he's trying to take action. Okay. Like step up to the plate or whatever. But sometimes he kind of goes about it the wrong way. Like, but okay, I'm not going to say he's going about it the wrong way, but he's doing things the way that he feel like he needs to do it. But sometimes God would allow us to learn through trial and error until we get it right. Okay. So anyway, the next message I received also too, I saw this come through as, and I did say something about going over to TikTok to see the things that you should be mindful of, especially when signing contracts during this time with people, okay, while we're in Mercury retrograde. Because the way I saw this was, it was like as if someone was showing up at a hotel in a sense, and let's just say the significant other just kind of went in and signed a paper saying, hey, just give me a room, but they wasn't necessarily questioning or using their intuition or even navigating with their sixth senses of whether they should even stop at that particular place. Because the way I got it was, it could have been some place that maybe you may have resonated with in the past, but you still think that that place is still kind of like resonating with you right now, when it's almost like certain things are kind of have no longer resonate with you in a sense. So when we grow and evolve, it's almost like our mindsets have changed and our frequency have changed. So therefore, things that we used to operate in and places that we used to operate in, we don't necessarily operate in those before. Because the way I saw this was, it was like as if this masculine was purchasing a hotel, but what he was doing was, when he was purchasing a hotel, it's like he was having his feminine wait outside, and he said he'd be right back as a way to kind of like, I guess, surprise in a sense. But then when they get into the hotel, they start to see imperfections that are wrong with the hotel in a sense. So now you basically signed off on the contract in a sense, you know, of saying you wanted this hotel room, when our reality is it doesn't even meet your standards. Okay, so that's just the example of what came through as an example. Okay, the other message was to just be mindful, because there are some people at this time who are just like still stuck in the old mindsets. Okay, and I got this coming through women of a certain age, somewhere between their 60s and possibly 70s or whatever the case may be. And I'm not going to just say them, because it could be, you know, from the 50s as well too. But the way I saw this was is as if like they're kind of needing to change their mindset with the way that they're operating, the way that they do things, and the way that they handle things. Okay, so I don't know who needs to hear that message, but just be mindful of that, and be mindful of people trying to send you attacks or whatever. If they're sending you attacks, they're doing it because they're trying to strategically see something or gain. I just heard, or gain some information from you in a sense. So be mindful of that as well too. Okay. So this other message came through as if like some of you guys may have kind of like slacked up on the gym in a sense. But the way I saw this was, is that some of you guys are going to find yourselves getting back into working out. Okay. And I felt like that was a message for someone around about the age of the 30s or whatever the case may be. So be mindful, okay? Because I just heard a second ago, like you're moving into a new position. So it's almost like you need to work out and be physically fit. It's like your wealth, your health is your wealth, okay? Anyway, so this other message that I received as well too was, I heard 3 different songs, okay? So bear with me. The 3 songs that I heard was, one was Shirley Caesar, okay? So I say all that to say that some of you guys, and it came through in the Shirley Caesar song that it was like, it's a song like, this part stood out in particular. So it said, then you'll have a testimony, you'll be able to say that God has delivered you, and I'll praise him always. Don't mind my singing, y'all, but that just stood out the other day. So some of you guys are going to have a testimony, because some of you guys are things about to shift for you and change for you, but this is going to be your testimony, okay? And you're going to always remember that God has really had your back through everything that you have been through, okay? And then another song that came through was Aaliyah, excuse me, where I get Alicia from? Aaliyah. It's Just Let Me Know song. Let me know, let me know. So if you guys want to go Google those lyrics to Shirley Caesar's song, what was it? That God has delivered you, and I praise him. I don't really remember the hit. I'm sorry, y'all. I should have got the name of the song. But anyway, the Shirley Caesar song when she's talking about having a testimony. Anyway, and so Aaliyah's song, Just Let Me Know. Read the lyrics, because I guess you can go Google the lyrics if you want, because there's a message there for somebody. And then there was a Lionel Richie song that came through that says, was it My Love song? My Love? Just... hold on. Was it My Love, Just Thinking About You? Oh, okay. My love, just thinking about you, baby, just blows my mind. Okay, so that song came through. I don't know if you need to go listen to the lyrics to that song. Anyway, that message may not play to all, but if you feel compelled to go look it up, feel free to do so. And then I received a message. Another message was something about cheese and turkey sandwiches. Not quite sure, but something about cheese and turkey sandwiches. I guess somebody's going to be fixing cheese and turkey sandwiches. Maybe you haven't eaten cheese and turkey sandwiches in a minute. Maybe you're eating cheese and turkey sandwiches. So I don't know who hear that message. But anyway, this other message came through is something about somebody's going to come on the scene. The way I saw this was trying to do something pertaining to like jail reform in a sense. Okay. But they're not moving and operating in the same way that they may have thought, maybe like protesting outside of jails in a sense, because I heard the guy saying, you know, oh, we don't do, what did he say? He said, that's not like marching. We don't do that. We don't do things like that anymore. Okay. So that's the way I saw that. But then it's almost, I don't know if this is like a pastor or whatever. I'm not sure. But, you know, just be mindful of that as well, too. Somebody coming on the scene talking about doing something about jail reform. In what way, I don't know. I don't know if they're talking about physically or if they're talking about spiritually. Okay. So be mindful. You got to ask plenty of questions. Anyway, so this last message. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not even the last message. This other message that came through was some of you divine masculines, where before, where your divine feminine needed to kind of tell you stuff in a sense of things to just kind of be aware of, kind of like that contract I just explained about the hotel in a sense of things not resonating. It's almost like the way I saw this is as a divine masculine, it's almost like you're starting to understand what is a healthy give and take. Because it was like being in your car with your, let me say your divine feminine, your spiritual family in a sense. And it's like another gentleman that you, I guess, was doing business with before. Maybe you're no longer resonating with them is the way I'm seeing this right now, because it's almost like, whereas before it was kind of like, okay, I do this and you do that in a sense. So now it was like the other gentleman who you were like, I guess, compromising with at one point in time, you're no longer compromising with them now, because basically what it was this gentleman was in the other cars, like you guys kind of met up somewhere, like in a parking lot, and basically they got out of the car, saw whatever it was on the ground, and then got back into their car, and you looked at the item and thought to yourself, like, he put that on the ground. He really could have just gave it to me in my hand in a sense. So it was almost like you're no longer tolerating of operating how you used to operate, because again, they got out of the car and put whatever it was they need to put on the ground and was going to sit there and watch you to wait for you to pick it up. But you looked at it and it's almost like you was like, and then all of a sudden it's like somebody skirting out of a parking lot, like, fuck that. No, like, no, absolutely not. I understand my worth now. So I saw that for someone, and that's just how the message came through. So some of you guys, again, you're going to start to understand your self-worth a little bit more and no longer settle for things that you were settling for before. Okay. This other message came through for, was for, I heard like a lady and a child. It's like they were home alone. So I'm not sure. It could have been a situation that maybe they may have had someone that was living there before with them, like a male, but then maybe that male may have moved out is what's coming to mind. But it's almost like they heard a noise inside the house. So it's like the mom and the child, in a sense, the mom was like, shh, told the child, shush, in other words, to go give me the baseball bat. Okay. So somebody is going to kind of be on guard or just hearing some noise, I guess, within their house in a sense. Okay. I guess because they're not necessarily used to being alone in a sense. Okay. And this other message came through is if you have been someone who has been, let's just say like uptight, maybe you may have had a job with the government, or maybe you may have been a contractor in a sense. And this is just what's coming to mind. So I'm just saying it. Okay. Could have been a situation of where you were in a high position in a sense. Maybe the two of you were both managers in a sense. Okay. At a company, government, whatever. But the way I saw this was, and you kind of lived your life as a sense of having things tidy, in order, and, you know, nothing necessarily out of order, but you kind of, it's like nitpicky type attitude in a sense. The way I saw this was some of you guys, your relationship is about to go under divine judgment. And I say all that to say that the way you moved before, you're not going to move that way anymore, because it's almost like I saw two people sleeping in two separate rooms in a sense. And not only were they sleeping in two separate rooms, it's almost like now they're missing what they once had that was within the, let's just say, like if you may have had family members that came over and spent time with you and you missed that energy kind of being around. Well, that energy is no longer there. So now it's like you having to face each other is what I'm hearing the divine spirit of light say. Now the two of you having to face each other without no one else being within the mix of things, kind of like keeping the relationship and breaking up some of the monotony. So now because the two of you have just been just the two of you facing each other and really just kind of seeing just the flaws, and not just the flaws, but just really seeing and really feeling of your true natures. Because sometimes we can be in relationship with people and deep down in our subconscious mind, we may be just settling for something that's less than what we may either deserve, or we just settle in for less because we feel like we will not have any other opportunity. So you just take what you feel like you're being offered. Okay. So I'm saying now that basically some of these relationships are about to come to the surface of what's been hidden within the subconscious mind. So if you guys were sleeping in the same room before, some of you guys may find yourself sleeping in separate bedrooms in a sense. And it's almost like the way I saw it was like the house is kind of like, I'm not going to say it's going to shambles, but where if you was someone before who didn't necessarily leave dishes in the sink, now see dishes being left in the sink. Okay. And a lot of fast food that was being eaten rather than cooking home foods, in like you did before, in a sense, where you made home, not saying you didn't eat out, but you had home cooked meals. But now I just saw like in the refrigerator, it was just like a lot of takeout stuff. Okay. So be mindful of that. Okay. And this last message came through, and I'm going to end it here. This last message that came through. So as I said before, all of us are under divine judgment right about now. Okay. Like I said, with this Mercury retrograde, with the eclipse being in the Scorpio moon in a sense. So anything that has been hidden within the subconscious mind that we wasn't necessarily aware of, and even if you was aware of this, divine spirit of light is bringing to your awareness of what you are really missing at this time. Okay. So whatever, it's a relationship with somebody, whether it's something that you really wanted to do, it can be different for everyone, but just even if it's a particular relationship that you missed in a sense, okay, that information is kind of coming up of what you used to have in a sense, or what you miss doing in a sense. Okay, so I have two messages here really quick. This first message came through was 1 John 5:14 and 15, and it says, and this is a confidence that we have towards him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us in whatever we ask, we know that we already request that we have asked of him. Okay. So again, like I said, some of you guys are just coming to your awareness of knowing your own self-worth and stuff, and whatever it is that you have asked God for. So it's about being patient and waiting patiently, and just knowing that you're being committed to the prayers. And even though something may be taking the time, God has his time and he has his reason. Because I guess when you work hard for something, you realize when you have whatever it is that you asking God for, you learn to appreciate it once it's there, rather than be unappreciative of it if he gives it to you quickly. Okay, that's just what came to mind. And then I have this one last scripture. It is Romans 12:12, and it says, and I just heard 12:12, which is funny because May 5th is about new beginnings, old chapters closing, and doors opening to a new chapter. Okay, 12 is like completion. Okay, so, and it's about letting go of whatever harsh treatments that you've been having to deal with, for those of you who know what you've been through. Okay, anyway, so Romans 12:12 says, rejoice in hope, be patient in tribulation, be consistent in prayer. Okay, so that means you got to pray every day, in a sense of just knowing that God is gonna give you exactly what it is that you're asking for. Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna wish you all much love, much light, and if you need some assistance on your journey, feel free to go to my website if you feel compelled to, and reach out. But I wish you much love, much light on your spiritual journey. Okay, bye.